update you on all the running stories, and connect you to the newsmakers.
City News.
It's midday. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. The news is also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the world. We are live on citynewsroom.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa and this afternoon I'm here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
Coming up, former Deputy Minister of Finance Mona Korte criticizes government for patting itself on the shoulder over the 20 million expenditure cut, which led to the no request of supplementary budget for the remaining part of 2023.
That 20 billion is not out of fancy, but more out of necessity. We don't have it. Ghana does not have 20 billion to spend. So that didn't.
Meanwhile, economist at the University of Cape Coast, Professor James Atapepra, is attributing the 60 billion cedi losses the Bank of Ghana incurred last year to unsound economic policies.
From an economic point of view, some of the policies were not, sound enough. One other important factor that we can talk about is the cleanup exercise that BOJ did. It cost BOJ.
Also coming up, scores of tricycle operators arrested following a clash with city guards as the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly begins implementation of a ban on the movement of tricycles into the central business district. We take you live to the Ashanti Regional Capital shortly. Still ahead, strike by members of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana in full flight across all 47 colleges as students bear the brunt of the angry teachers.
Since they abandoned the teaching, that means the assessment and other things cannot be carried on.
Because of the strike, the teachers are not been coming to class and we haven't even finished with our course outlines. And since they are not coming to class, it's really affecting us.
And later, we'll take you to Jekiti, a community in the Siojaman district of the Eastern region where residents are appealing to their local assembly to commission a public toilet which has been abandoned for over 3 years.
Toilet baako wo masie akasa wo bebe bia no aman ene kura ya chenchire king go okwabra ne botom ewo cancer yen sanka say toilet ye beko ye sora oba akoto ya be ma akoto wa ewo bush.
All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is live on all affiliates across the 16 regions of the country. In the Western region, we are live on Ajunpa 100.7 in Takwa, Beach FM 105.5 in Tekrade, Bono region Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyain, Ashanti region Focus FM 94.3 on KNUST campus in Kumasi, Orange FM 107.9 also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are live on Revival FM 99.3 in Tajewu, VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohoi, Northern region Radio Bimbela 91.9 in Bimbela, Upper East Quality FM 88.7 in Garu, and Upper West we are live on Tunsong FM 97.3 in Wa and Jirapa FM 96.1 in Jirapa.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for choosing us. Let's start the bulletin from the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, where scores of tricycle operators have been arrested following a clash with city guards as the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly begins implementation of a ban on the movement of tricycles into the central business district. Let's go live to Kumasi and speak to my colleague Hafiz Tijani. Hafiz, good afternoon to you. Many thanks for your time. Now, this policy the Assembly mentioned was going to be in full flight on the 31st of July. How difficult it is for these tricycle operators to adhere to this directive not to come into the central business district of Kumasi?
So yesterday, we saw some roadblocks at major intersections leading to the central business district, where police officers and KMA guards took over those streets, and they had blocked these roads to prevent these tricycle operators from accessing areas within the central business district. But the indication we had was that the KMA transport department was still continuing with the education with the tricycle operators. They didn't want to just start with the enforcement, so they wanted to still engage with these tricycle operators to get them to get a buy-in so that they can comply fully when the enforcement is done. But today, they removed all these roadblocks leading to the various areas. So a while ago, we learned that the KMA gas came to raise calls to enforce this ban leading to the main Kejetia area, and that resulted in misunderstanding between them and the tricycle operators. So we learned there was some form of clash between the tricycle operators and the city gas, and police had to come in to pick up some of them, 8 to the Swami Police Station, and 2 others have been sent to the Central Police Command. And they have also impounded some of the tricycles. So the atmosphere here is charged. We've seen a deployment of armed police officers from the police headquarters to maintain order. There's heavy vehicular traffic on the main Swami roundabout Kejetia stretch at the exact intersection of the racecourse area. I have some of the tricycle operators here with me to take their thoughts on what they make of this development. You are welcome to Citi Prime News.
Thank you.
What happened this morning?
Oh, this morning, early in the morning, it was successful, good. But suddenly, we're on our business center and we're doing our tricycle business. Then suddenly, we saw that people came and told us that we can't go inside KT where we normally work. Then we do not also understand. So I asked them, then they told us that because the reason why they don't want us to be working inside market is we cause accidents. Then that one too, I did not understand because the time that motors was not there was accident and there was traffic. So if you are if you can bring anything reasonable to say that this because of this, we will understand. But if you say we are causing traffic and accidents, we don't understand that one. And they also say that we are driving carelessly and we are causing accidents. Sometimes I always want to ask the people of Ghana because we don't know what we are doing. I always think that if you go to school, you know everything. But sometimes we those who do not go to school, we also have sense. Because if you get to election time, you come and stand in front of us. We those who do not go to school, you come down whatever that you are doing, then you come. You come and say we should vote for you. But after voting for you, you will now bully us as like animals. Please, we are begging on you people. We are human beings. And please, don't do this. And many of us will think that it's because of politics. Because this one, if you do, you are against one party. Because, I can't tell the party that I belong to. But I'm talking to the general that whatever that we are doing, we should think twice before we do it.
Before today, the KMA has held meetings with you. They have sensitized you. They have given you some education. Why are you finding it difficult to just comply with a simple order or a directive?
Yo, senior, this is what I was waiting for you to ask me. Because we went there. Not we, the small boys that even went there. We live for those who are elder people, that they are not even using flag. But within a week, if something gets to you, then you know that this thing, you are too small to do. You have to look for an elderly person to go and beg. Truly, we went there, we removed some of them, then they go. They beg them. Then they came, they say, they will do something about it. They will try and see what they will do for us. But today, as we are just trying, we just see that they just came and they just started saying that we shouldn't work. Then if we do not work, truly, this is where that we will also fight for daily meals. So if we do not work, how will we get money to feed? We can't survive. And I've seen that since this thing came to Ghana here, sometimes it has reduced most of boys, those that were doing bad things. Because now, if you get motor, then you go out and you get like 5 cities square, it's your own. But if you do not get work and you are sitting in the house, maybe you are not intention that you will steal. But because of hungry, you will go and pick someone thing.
Okay, so Howard, that is Christopher. He is one of the tricycle operators here. They load from racecourse into the racecourse market and of the central business district. So activities of tricycle operations have halted in this part of the metropolis. But the KMA is saying that it's still going to go ahead to enforce this particular directive. But as we speak now, police officers are here directing traffic and are trying to maintain calm as far as the development is concerned. So the tricycle operators are not also giving up, as we heard from Christopher, who is talking about the KMA not giving them concrete reasons on why they are enforcing this ban. If there is time, we can still speak to one other person who also witnessed.
How many people have been arrested so far?
So we're told that 8 persons, 8 of them were taken to the Swami police station, and 2 others were taken to the Central Police Station. That is the information we have so far.
Very well, keep monitoring. We'll come back to you subsequently when you have more updates from us from Kumasi. Now, the story is that scores of tricycle operators have been arrested following a clash with city guards as the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly begins its implementation of a ban on the movement of tricycles into the central business district of Kumasi. We keep an eye on that story and bring you updates as and when we have it. Let's now do stories regarding yesterday's media budget review, which was read by the Finance Minister, Kweku.
Now, former Deputy Finance Minister Mona Korte says government's downward revision of the appropriations bill from the 227.7 billion Ghana cedis to 206 billion Ghana cedis should not be celebrated as a major economic achievement. She makes the point that government is already cash-strapped and is left with no other option but to be measured in its spending. Government has justified the 20 billion Ghana cedi cut in expenditure, saying it is enough for the country in its current state and therefore did not request for a supplementary budget during the budget review yesterday. It said that the country in the first 6 months of the year had seen improvements in tax revenue and was on course to meet its targets for the year, but oil revenues had fallen short of expectations due to the changes in global prices. Thus, the downward review of expenditure to align with the underperformance of some of its revenue handles. But reacting to this, Mona Korte says government should give Ghanaians a break since the economy is still in tatters.
Not asking for more money and also not coming with any new taxes was a relief. I mean, I'm sure if you spoke to anyone on the street, they would. Just as you go along, as we've seen in this media read. So with capital expenditure, for infrastructure, for example, for a country like ours that needs infrastructure, we have a massive infrastructure deficit. You would have expected that last year's year of roads would have put in a whole lot more kilometers, a whole lot more bridges, a whole lot more of the port infrastructure, basically different areas of transportation to make things work. Today, we see revision in growth rates downwards, as if we had overheated, which we hadn't even overheated. In fact, we had just gone through COVID and so forth, and our growth had become sluggish. We have now actually taken it further down. 20 billion cut in expenditure. Is it because we wanted to cut expenditure, or is it because we have to? I mean, I really would like to support Abna in saying that, oh, we have been so wonderful, we are great accountants, and we've cut expenditure. But to be honest, I think it is that we didn't even have the money to spend. One, we were locked out of the capital markets. 2, we are struggling with the domestic debt repayment plan, which we haven't even concluded. We are still dealing with pensioners who we've told we will repay their monies, and yet we are still trying to negotiate with them. We are going back into the same domestic market to borrow for recurrent expenditure only because we have nowhere else to turn to. So that expenditure cut was not because we wished to, because we wanted a wonderful surplus or so forth, but the deficit was necessary because there wasn't even money to spend. So that 20 billion is not out of fancy, but more out of necessity. We don't have it. Ghana does not have 20 billion to spend, so that didn't happen.
You heard the former Deputy Finance Minister, Mona Korte.
Now, still on the economy, the Dean of the School of Economics at the University of Cape Coast, Professor James Atapepra, has attributed the 60 billion cedi losses the Bank of Ghana incurred last year to unsound economic policies. This loss stands in stark contrast to the profit of 1.23 billion cedis the bank achieved in the previous year, which is 2021. According to the central bank, the losses were primarily attributed to the government's domestic debt restructuring activities and the depreciation of the local currency, among other factors. But speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Professor Atapepra blamed the banking sector cleanup, printing of extra money, among other factors, for the huge debt the central bank has incurred.
Government has borrowed money in terms of bonds from the public. Government has defaulted. And because BOG is the bank for the government, banker for the government, so if government is in trouble, BOG must step in to redeem the image of government. So that is number one. Number two is the monetary financing that warned us not to do again. Monetary financing simply means that BOG, financing government activities from its balance sheet. And that's from the layman perspective. But it goes deeper, it goes beyond that. So, in terms of that, as a result of that, BOG's liability side exceeded the asset side. What it means is that if we are to sell BOG today, the quantum of the assets cannot be sold to pay off their liability. Point number three is the printing of money for government. I think many people have not, observed that. Anytime you're printing money printing comes with cost. Okay, so if you print money and the money goes into productive activities to raise revenue, that in finance they call that one seigniorage.
Professor Atapepra is concerned this development will dip public confidence in the banking system.
If the regulator couldn't make profit, couldn't post any profit, if the regulator is suffering, if the regulator itself is bleeding, what will happen to the people that they are regulating? What will happen to the institutions that they are regulating? The fact of the matter is that banks are suffering. Banks are bleeding. For me, you see, in a financial system, the release of information is very, very critical, very crucial. I was of the opinion that this information should have come to the public. When I heard it, I said, no, this is a mistake. Because the moment this information is put into the public domain, it was sending wrong signals. It was fear and panic to the public. Hey, they say BOG has made loss of this amount. Hey, if BOG has made loss of this amount, then what about the banks? The commercial banks, universal banks, development banks. What is going to happen to the rural bank? What's going to happen to them? So it may have some negative effect on the banking sector.
Professor James Atapepra is the Dean of the School of Economics at the University of Cape Coast. Meanwhile, economists at the University of Ghana, Dr. Edusa Akode, attribute the central bank's loss to the attempt to bail out Ghana's ailing fiscals.
Well, I think the central bank has a mandate. It's mandated to ensure price stability, to regulate the financial sector, and also influence GDP and employment. So has they delivered? Yes, they are delivering on this mandate. And so that's the policy, the monetary policy angle of managing the economy. And they have done well with that on that level. But the losses that they have made, is not as a result of undertaking these policies or these functions. The losses came from the fiscal side. And so it is because they were trying to bail out the fiscal. That's why they made those losses. It's not the same as saying that, the core mandate of the BOG in undertaking their core mandate led them into making these losses. So they have really specified what caused the losses. They've talked about the debt exchange program. They have also talked about the cedi depreciation, etc., etc. So I don't think that we have to blame entirely the BOG for undertaking their own functions and to incur these losses.
Dr. Idrissa Kodia is an economist with the University of Ghana.
Now, government says it is working assiduously towards an updated energy sector recovery plan to address the current challenges that confronts the sector. This comes on the back of debts owed to the independent power producers IPPs amounting to about $2.3 billion. Delivering the media budget review statement yesterday, the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta noted the need to address the challenges with management of the energy sector debts. To this end, the government says engagements are underway to address debts owed to the IPPs. First, let's hear from the Minister about government's plan for the energy sector.
Beyond these current challenges, our economic prospects remain bright, but we must adapt quickly and address unexpected challenges ahead in order to rebuild our resilience. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I'd like to bring our attention to several critical imperatives that require our immediate and collective action. The energy sector, especially IPP power payments, remain a critical challenge. We must support the ECG to significantly improve its collection to reduce the burden the sector imposes on public finances. I'm pleased, Mr. Speaker, to announce that we have an updated energy sector recovery plan, and we must all support its implementation to bring the sector towards a sustainable path.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. But responding to this development, the Chamber of Independent Power Producers, IPPs, makes good its promise. Eleplim Apetogo is the Chief Executive of the Chamber.
I say that I am happy that the Minister for Finance indicated that our concerns are very critical to him and the government. But I am expectant to see this criticality actualized for our relief. So let me say, I'm happy that he has recognized that. He made some indications regarding to some strategies that they are putting in place. He made mention of an updated cash waterfall mechanism, and also he has indicated about government support to ECG to improve on its collection to be able to meet the revenue target and paying the independent power producers. Okay, prior to the media budget review or presentation, we had some engagement on the day that we indicated our inability to continue on our operation. That was around June 30th. We had some engagement at the 11th hour and some assurances. It has been started, and we receive an assurance that the process will continue, or the assurance that we had the second part will be fulfilled. That is exactly the case. The offer we received actually has some issues that we were not able to address between the time frame that was given us. And actually, that was what led us to the meeting to find a way out. And we have taken a decision that we are going by. But I can give the assurance that we are keeping good faith with ECG or the government to sustain the light for the benefit of all.
You heard there the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Independent Power Producers, Eleplim Apetogo.
Still on the economy, the chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Kweku Kwatin, wants the government to avoid spending on projects that are not budgeted for to ensure economic sustainability. Reacting to the media budget review, Kweku Kwatin says government must rationalize expenditure while dealing with loopholes in the system.
We should stop putting pressure on government to spend on projects for which we have no money. And especially now, we should be asking government to spend on projects for which we have already committed the economy. Let the arrears that have piled, some of them very historical, let us put the resources we have into those arrears. Let us stop again putting pressure on government to take on new commitments. And Mr. Speaker, I say this on behalf of the Finance Committee. We will be looking to support government and to ensure that the resources we have go into existing projects instead of taking on additional projects. And we do this fully conscious that it is the point of government itself that this is how it intends to live, to help the economy live within its means.
You heard the chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Kweku Kwarteng. Meanwhile, the ranking member on the Finance Committee, Isaac Adongo, says the central bank must be thoroughly checked to save it from collapse.
It is obvious that the people of Ghana will not see the ramifications of what the Bank of Ghana has done until several years to come. The Bank of Ghana is now not fit for purpose. It cannot undertake monetary policy action without borrowing money or printing money. And it is the printing money that brought us here. Mr. Speaker, the last time we came here and said they printed money, they wrote a long essay. When we said they printed money, they wrote a long essay. Today, this is the auditor report. The auditor report says that your exposure to government was 80 billion. You printed and pumped 80 billion into the economy. 80 is here. Go and read the auditor report if you haven't been reading it. This, Mr. Speaker, I beg to quote. And this is, Mr. Speaker, I beg to quote. Independent auditor's report to the Minister for Finance. Key audit matter, impairment of investment in government securities. And Mr. Speaker, I quote. As at 31st December 2022, the group's total government securities exposures subjected to the DDEP was 80.57 billion. It's not my money. I didn't produce this report.
You heard the ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Isaac Adongo. You are still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM with me, Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, here with Kweku Ejiama, and still to come, strike by members of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana in full flight across all 46 training colleges as students bear the brunt of the angry teachers. We have details of that and other stories coming right away. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
The entries have been received and the marking has begun. Who makes it to the next round of the Literacy Challenge 2023? Randomly selected entries will be read on 97.3 Citi FM, on Brunch in the City and the Traffic Avenue, and on Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Stay tuned to Citi TV and 97.3 Citi FM to find out who makes it to Level 2 of the Literacy Challenge 2023. Level 2, the aptitude test. The top 50 contestants from across Ghana to make it to the next round of the Literacy Challenge shall take part in a written aptitude test on Saturday, 12th August 2023. Level 3, the live quiz. The top 10 contestants from Level 2 shall compete for the grand prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis and a trophy in a classic quiz competition. Call 0558 973 973 for more details. The Literacy Challenge 2023 is powered by Citi TV, supported by 97.3 Citi FM, and is sponsored by the Ghana National Gas Company, Webby Crunchy Biscuits by M4 Foods, SRC Insurance PLC, Prospectus Ghana Limited, Dext Technology, Alive Soap, and Fortune Rice.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, a Deputy Attorney General, Alfred Tuan-Yeboah, says the state is ready to halt the prosecution of the final year student of Adisado College if he opts for plea bargaining. This is a process in criminal justice where the accused person relinquishes the right to go to full trial in exchange for some other benefits. The final year student was seen in a viral video allegedly assaulting his colleague and hurting him in the process. Mr. Tuan-Yeboah, reacting to comments by stakeholders who questioned the criminal prosecution of the student instead of school authorities handling the matter, said the prosecution will still continue.
The boy at Adisado, he is alleged to have committed assault and unlawful harm. And I made a point that it matters not where a crime occurs. It can occur in a school, it can occur in a church, it can occur anywhere. So far as this one occurred in the school, we decided that the laws of the state must be pursued, and that's what we are doing. And that's why last week he was taken to court, was granted bail. I think tomorrow you're back in court, and we see how the law takes him through it.
The speaker says that, that the school authorities should have dealt with it. This matter shouldn't have gone to court.
Now that the matter is in court, I think my only advice is that if he intends taking advantage of a plea bargaining act, we are ready. That's what I can say, because he's facing assault and causing unlawful harm. If he wants to take advantage of plea bargaining act, it's permitted. He can approach us. We will look at the law and see how best we can also meet him halfway.
AG will not enter another process.
Oh, it has not even come to our mind. We have started the case, and we want to see how the case unfolds, depending on how the evidence is also comes up later. If there's evidence to the effect that the prosecution cannot continue, we may have to rest it. But if there's evidence, we have to prosecute.
On the criminal trial of the Member of Parliament for Asin North, James Jachi-Kwesen, Alfred Tuan-Yeboah refuted allegations of political persecution.
Forget about that. We are doing proper prosecution. He's a citizen just like myself, yourself. If I commit an offense, I'm supposed to be prosecuted under the laws of Ghana. It matters not that you are an MP, you are a minister, you are a farmer, you are a carpenter. If you fall foul of the laws of the land, the laws must deal with you. Simple.
Alfred Tuan-Yeboah is a Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
In more stories, the Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, says police investigations into the death of a 34-year-old Yusuf Salahuddin at Asawase in the Ashanti region so far revealed that the deceased died after hitting himself against a wall. According to reports, the deceased was arrested in a soup with 13 others at a criminal hideout at Asawase, but was later released by the police after showing signs of illness. While running away, Yusuf Salahuddin hit himself against a wall and fell down, leading to his death. Providing an update on the incident to Parliament, Ambrose Derry says the case docket has been forwarded to the Attorney General for advice.
Investigation has so far revealed that the police team who conducted the operation met Salahuddin, now deceased, with some other people at the criminal hideout and attempted to escape upon seeing the police. The police chased them and later arrested Salahuddin and 13 others. He was handcuffed by the arresting officers but was later released to go when he showed signs of sickness. The arresting officers allege that the deceased, while running away, hit himself against a wall and fell down. On 24 July 2023, a post-mortem examination was conducted on the body by Dr. Ernest Boachi of the Confederate Teaching Hospital, who gave the verbal cause of death as massive hemoperitoneal blood in the abdominal cavity, splenic rupture, and blunt force trauma. In line with the Islamic tradition, the body has since been released for the family for burial. Mr. Speaker, a team from the Ashanti Regional Police Command has engaged the family of the deceased to condole and to commiserate with them and continues to update them of the investigation.
Ambrose Derry is the Minister of Interior.
Students at some colleges of education in the Ashanti region are expressing fears the strike by members of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, may hamper the current academic calendar if concerns are not addressed immediately. The association declared a strike to compel the government to implement a ruling by the National Labour Commission regarding conditions of service. Checks at the St. Louis and Wesley Colleges of Education in the Ashanti region indicate a halt in academic activities as members of the association have complied with directives from their leadership. Some students who spoke to Citi News expressed their displeasure about the development.
Said our teachers are on strike, the classes are empty, and it's affecting us. It's really affecting because we have 2 weeks to our examination. We don't know what we are going to write. We are not done with our content standard yet, but yes, so we don't know. So we are pleading with the government to sort things out with our lectures so that they can come back to class for us.
We heard about the strike last week, but we thought that it was not serious. Just today that we get to know that they are on strike. And next 2 weeks we are writing our exam, so it is going to affect us because some of us, we haven't finished our courses. We are learning on our own. Right now, we are having a group studies.
Last November, tutors in colleges of education went on strike. Our exams were supposed to be taken in December, but because of the strike, everything was shifted to this year, January. And they are now on strike again. We received information yesterday that CTAG, that's the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, is going on strike. We thought it was a mere rumor. But indeed, this morning we woke up and they've withdrawn from all academic activities. We have exams in 2 weeks and probably the exams date will be shifted backwards like it happened last year. My appeal, I'm standing in for students in Ghana, especially the teacher trainees, that the government should attend to the needs of our tutors, since they are the ones to supervise us to take our exams.
Those were some students of the St. Louis and Wesley Colleges of Education in Kumasi. Now, the local chapter president for CTAG at the St. Louis College of Education, Paul Mensah, says members have fully complied with the directive to embark on the strike.
But any duty that we do, project work, supervision and stuff like that, they are all included. And we had our services to these areas.
So there's full compliance as far as the strike is concerned?
Yeah, sure. But all tutors were eager and they were actually looking forward to this strike coming off. Because as you are aware now, it's been a while, we are in the 8th month now, where the government was to implement the ruling that NLC brought. So in fact, all teachers are poised to see to it that this strike comes into fruition. And so, as you can see from the classes, all the classes are empty. There's no tutor in class.
That was a local chapter president for CTAG at the St. Louis College of Education in Kumasi, Paul Mensah.
Meanwhile, in the northern region, the situation is not different. During a visit by Citi News to the EP College of Education campus in Bimbela, students were seen loitering around as their teachers were not available. Some of the students who spoke to Citi News appealed to the government to promptly address their teachers' concerns as they are the ones bearing the brunt of the strike.
It's Eric. Yeah, Eric.
Eric what?
Eric Inside. No, it is actually going to affect us, in fact, because since our teachers are going on strike, the exams is almost approaching, and I don't think they will be around to invigilate us for the exams. And when that happens, the continuous assessments and other things is part of the academic work. So since they abandon the teaching, that means the assessment and other things cannot be carried on. So that means the external exam we are coming to write is automatically going to be marked over 100.
Because of the strike, the teachers are not coming to class, and we haven't even finished with our course outlines. And since they are not coming to class, it's really affecting us, and we'll be writing our end of semester exams next 2 weeks. And this will really be a very big problem for us since we haven't finished with everything yet. And unless we learn on our own, and even if we want to learn on our own, there's some of the things that if we learn on our own, we'll not get the understanding. So it's really, really affecting us in a very, very terrible way.
You heard there some students of the EP College of Education campus in Bimbala.
The General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, Godwin Ama, has charged the government to remain focused in its fight against illegal mining as the election year approaches. His call follows the UK government injection of £3.9 million to support Ghana's effort to regularize the sector and protect the environment. Whilst welcoming the support, Godwin Ama, in an interview with Citi News, notes that the penchant of governments looking on for illegal mining activities to thrive during election years will derail any progress made.
Good. As a matter of fact, Aisha Wan has been in this country for the past 2 years, and then she's been going around her normal activities. We have been seeing her in the Ashanti region. Honestly speaking, she was working in a forest called Numre Forest Reserve at Samaboy, and she had a problem with Chinese national, and that has brought about her arrest. If it wasn't that Chinese who had reported her, I don't think by now she will be arrested and she will be facing any charges from the state.
You heard the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Still to come, we'll take you to Jeketi, a community in the Isiojaman district of the Eastern region where residents are appealing to their local assembly to commission a public toilet which has been abandoned for over 3 years. Please don't go away.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
1xBet jackpot is here with weekly massive prizes up for grabs. All you have to do is place your bets on any sports game and stand a chance to win. Simply register at 1xbet.com.gh. Use promo code JackpotGhana and place your bets. 1xBet is your key to great victories. Feel like a winner. 1xBet.
Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Yambon continent kwayechi if it 1974 one minute sampagu a power so my yedi be 2 year hofo yedi be fagin and yedi be so chai and nayase over 20 albums, countless tours around the world and state performance. World, I present to you the Pa Thomas High Life Night on the 4th of August 2023. The Accra International Conference Center will come alive with the High Life legend Pa Thomas. Come and experience style and dexterity for over 49 years in music. Smash hits like Okon for Body, Yamoja, Mewasem, Jaisu, Miwakuma, and many more. Other artists supporting Pa Thomas on the night will be Kojo Enchi, Ohinebakisi, Amanteba, Ambule, Kwabna Kwabna, Akwabwa, KK Fosu, Ochami Kwame Yuji, and other surprise acts. Tickets are going out for Standard 300, VIP 500, and VIP Double 800. Ticket outlet Frankie Sosu, Nalem Clothing, Akramo, Total Energy, Patronas Sphincters, Alisa Hotel, Ray, Grand Casamora, East Legon. Get your tickets online at vtickets.com. Star 713 star 101 hash. Event code 12. For inquiry and sponsorship, please call 0592 919 122 or 0593 433 422.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for staying with us. Let's do more stories and activities at the offices of the Ghana Education Service in the Nanumba North Municipality and the Saboba District of the Northern Region are likely to come to a halt due to disconnection of power from the national grid. The offices were disconnected last Friday during an exercise carried out by the Northern Electricity Distribution Company NEDCO due to outstanding bills totaling about 40,000 cedis. Directors at both offices say they have no means of paying the bills since they have no internally generated funds and the government has not released subventions to the offices for some months. Here is the statement from the Public Relations Officer at the Nanumba North Municipal GES office, Sally Futahiru.
We're disconnected roughly for the past 3 months or so. And as you mentioned, how it affects us. You know, we can't run as an office without light. We have gadgets that demands power. And when there is no power, that means that there will be halt on any other activity administratively. As we sign letters, we issue letters. I think we need power to do all these things. So once the power is out, it means that we will be stranded in a way in doing our day-to-day administrative work.
That was the Public Relations Officer of the Nanumba North Municipal Directorate of the Ghana Education Service, Sally Fotahidu.
Now, the National Labour Commission, NLC, has given Sanana Sogli Power Limited up until tomorrow to reach a final determination on the Trades Union Congress's demand for the reinstatement of the dismissed union executives. The union has already expressed disappointment at Sanana Sogli's refusal to reinstate their union leaders, believing their termination was wrongfully done. In response to this, the union declared a strike last month but called it off following the Council of State's intervention. During the National Executive Council meeting of the Ghana Mine Workers Union of TUC, the Deputy Secretary General of the TUC, Joshua Ansah, stated that the outcome of the meeting would determine their next line of action.
Comrades, we are not relenting. We are going to fight until our demands are met. So I want to add my voice to the call by the General Secretary to our distinguished and able men and women in the Council of State. In the Council of State. I know they are working. I know they have worked to a certain level where the state actors are working, the ambassadors are working, the chief of staff is also working with the top hierarchy. But because we want results, because the results are delaying, comrades, we want results and not processes. So I think that the call on from your General Secretary is timely and it's worth calling. It is our hope that tomorrow when we meet with the National Labour Commission at 2 o'clock, something positive will come out of that. Something positive. And the positive is that our three brothers are recalled back to work and matter closes from there.
You heard there Joshua Ansah, who is the Deputy Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, TUC. Meanwhile, Abdul Mumin Bana, who is the General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union of the TUC, has urged the Council of State to promptly address their concerns and work towards a resolution.
In the interest of national peace and harmony, and in the interest of the constructive conversation that took place between us and the Council of State, we would like to use this medium to remind the Council of State, and by extension the government, about the commitments made to organize labor to peacefully resolve the matter, and therefore urge them to prioritize the resolution of the matter without any delay.
General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union of TUC, Abdul Mumin Bana.
Residents of Jeketi, a community in the Esujaman district of the Eastern region, are appealing to their local assembly to commission a public toilet which has been abandoned for over 3 years. Despite being an essential amenity for locals, the only facility in the community has been left unattended and is now almost in a state of disrepair. Citi News' Kennedy Chumesi and Evans Kohe have more in the following report read by Charles Owusukumi.
The only public toilet facility in Jekiti, a local community in the Sujaman district of the Eastern region, has been neglected for over 3 years. Though newly built, the facility has since been awaiting commissioning. According to residents, local authorities have failed to commission the facility, leaving it to deteriorate and in a state of disrepair. The surroundings of the facility are also strewn with litter and waste due to the absence of regular cleaning. The surroundings has also become a site for garbage disposal, further exacerbating the health risks, attracting pests and creating a breeding ground for disease. For Akosiophobia, a resident in the area, she is forced to attend to nature's call in a polythene bag due to the lack of a public toilet facility.
Your problem bebre na your best problem higher pa titi toilet.
We are encountering a lot of challenges here, but our major challenge is the lack of toilet facilities. My mom is deceased, and because we don't have access to these facilities, I can't invite people to my hometown.
Yesre aban. Yensu kro ye to aba. Inti yesre aban. So pese yen to aba. No onya ye vote dia toilet die. Se ye wonsu ye be manage ni sa. But toilet die.
I'm pleading with the government to come to our aid. Not having a toilet facility is worrying.
Toilet kan okroma na wa basesa. Aje anajo, mimi se mba kroma me ko toilet gu robam. Makoto atwene. Amiti mi kroma kurase ya.
Her concerns are not different from what other locals experience. The residents want the assembly to immediately rehabilitate the facility and commission it for use.
What's the best 3 years ni? To see 3 years ni bro 3 years scramble. Ana what this yaka on VN.
It's been 3 years since the facility was constructed. We have complained to the DCE to commission it, but our calls have fallen on deaf ears. The only thing the government has done for us is providing potable water. We are forced to ease in the open, so government intervention will really be of good help to us.
Ye wo how papa ewo akwamu jagitia no oha ye wo no ende no kre toilet ye ko tiafi a ye koso ewo kromu akwa.
We are really suffering here. We don't have a toilet facility in our community. A toilet facility has been constructed, but authorities have failed to commission it.
Toilet ba ko wo masi awie akasa wo be bia no aman ene kra a chenchire kingu okwabra ne botom a ewo cancer ye nsa nka say toilet ye beko yesora oba akotoya bema akotoa ewo bush.
Residents here ease themselves in the bush. It is worrisome. I entreat anyone here to come here and verify if someone thinks I'm telling lies.
The
residents of Jekiti remain hopeful that their voices will be heard and urgent action will be taken to address the neglect of the toilet facility. Until then, they continue to grapple with the distressing reality of an essential amenity rendered unusable and the consequent implications on their health and quality of life.
That report was filed by Citi News' Kennedy Chumesi and Evans Kohe and read to you by Charles Osukumi.
In more stories this hour, the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, will later today engage with stakeholders in the liquefied petroleum gas LPG value chain to address issues emanating from the plant cylinder recirculation model CRM. Since the announcement of the policy, some key stakeholders have been requesting compensation from the government to value their existing LPG plants, fearing heavy impacts on their investments due to the move. The implementation will involve filling domestic LPG cylinders at bottling plants and distributing them at cylinder exchange points. The stakeholders say if compensation is not viable, they are seeking a 10-year transition period to operate alongside the cylinder recirculation model. Citi News gathers that the NPA's intention is to engage stakeholders in search of a possible resolution.
The Ghana Health Service in the Ningo Pampam district says relevant authorities are at work to combat the spread of the black flies that invaded some communities in the area weeks ago. Speaking to Citi News, the health director, Gifty Oforiansa, stated that the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research has confirmed the presence of black flies, but is still working on ascertaining the specific species and its related diseases. In the meantime, authorities have collaborated with the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, to embark on public education and protective measures.
NCD has sent technical officers come and support us, together with the technical team and entomologists from Noguchi. So they've done the next stage of the steps to take to control the menace of the insect invasion. But what they are doing is that they've done what they call prospecting. So gone to water body sites to go and look for the breeding sites for the insects. they took a first step and they were able to confirm that what we had was the black fly, which is the vector for onchocerciasis. And now the next stage is to look for the breeding site so that they will be able to point it to us and say this and go here, go there, go there, and put in the interventions at the breeding site.
Ningo Pram Health Director Gifty Ofori and Sam. President Akufo-Addo has defended government's decision to begin a new housing project rather than continue the Saglemi housing project started by the previous administration. Works on the Saglemi housing project, which began in 2016, has stalled after government said the project was not in the best interest of Ghanaians. Speaking at the sword-cutting ceremony in Accra for work to begin on the National Affordable Housing Project, which will see to the construction of some 8,000 units with the support of the private sector, President Akufo-Addo says government would have incurred more debt in an attempt to complete the Saglemi housing project.
We are aware of the delays and setbacks encountered during the execution of this project. The issues about the scope of work and the money expended on the Saglemi project have been taken to the Criminal Investigations Division of the Ghana Police Service for investigation, which have resulted in criminal judicial proceedings. However, in the meantime, to forestall the project from deteriorating, the Ministry of Works and Housing has actively engaged Cabinet, the Ministry of Finance, and the Office of the Attorney General on the completion of the project. It has been established that, based on these assessments, and having taken into account the project location and viability, Cabinet directed the resourceful Minister for Works and Housing, the Honorable Francis Asensu-Boakye, Member of Parliament for Bantama, quote, to explore the possibility of disposing of the Saglemi housing project, covering the 1,506 housing units at the current value, to a private sector entity to complete and sell the housing units to the public at no further cost to government, unquote.
You heard President Akufo-Addo.
Now, the Ministry of Youth and Sports has responded to a recent media publication concerning the contractual payments owed the former Black Stars coach C.K. Akono after the termination of his contract. The ministry issued a statement yesterday providing a detailed breakdown of the payment transactions as per the agreement with the Ghana Football Association, GFA. So far, C.K. Akono has received a total of $500,000. However, there remains an outstanding balance of $220,000 to be paid. Here are details of the Sports Ministry statement reported by City Sports' Gabi Ofe.
The attention of the Ministry of Youth and Sports has been drawn to publications in the media regarding an amount of money owed former coach of the Black Stars, Charles Kobna Akono, following the termination of his contract. In response to the claims made by Coach Akono in the said publications, the ministry would like to clarify the details of the payment transactions in accordance with agreements between him and the Ghana Football Association. Upon the termination of Coach Akono's contract, he was paid an amount of $54,000 and 54.06 at a rate of 5.89. This payment was disbursed on 22nd October 2021. On 10th February 2022, he received an amount of $54,000 and 54.06 at a rate of 6.21. On 12th January 2023, an amount of $100,000 was disbursed at a rate of 8.60. On the 27th July 2023, an amount of $30,000 was paid by check, which he declined and instead requested for a bank transfer. The said transfer has been effected on Monday, 31st July 2023. A total amount of $508,000, 108.12, has been paid, leaving an outstanding balance of $220,000. The detailed provisions of the contractual agreements between Coach Charles Kobna Akono and the Ghana Football Association is available and can be used as reference for verification. The Ministry of Youth and Sports would like to assure Coach Akono and the public that we have always been committed to fulfilling our contractual obligations.
You heard the details of the Sports Ministry statement read to you by City Sports' Gabi Ofe. Meanwhile, efforts by the sports team to reach ex-Black Stars coach CK Akono have proven futile.
Now, the Ghana Health Service has pledged its unflinching support to the Guarantee Trust Bank, GT Bank Limited, in its quest to support persons living with autism. According to the service, the management of autism has become complex, which needs intervention. Hence, the service's readiness to contribute its quota in deploying experts to support the bank when the need arises. Delivering his keynote address at the opening ceremony of the GT Bank Annual Autism Workshop in Accra, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar Abuaji, noted that the service will collaborate with the bank to achieve the initiative. For his part, the Managing Director for GT Bank Ghana, John Thomas, added that the initiative to support children with autism has come to stay. We'll bring you more on this story in our subsequent bulletin. And that's how we end today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. Please log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, and I was here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
Many thanks for doing the listening. Do have a great afternoon.